Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to a mirror recap. What's up? This is episode 3, right after week 3, hot after week 3. We are on today's what day is it today? Today is 25th of March, Tuesday. I'm here with Mr. Arashi. I'm here with Mr. Realize. How y'all doing?
Thank you for watching my recap. I'm able to buy new shorts now.
He doesn't have no more feet shots and no more bulges in the middle. All right, chat. We got Mr. Tough Gaming right here to cover the bulge in case Arashi shows any bulge.
What?
So Mr. Tough Gaming,
The laptop can control.
W Tough Gaming because of that, saving our eyes from seeing something that is maybe unpleasant, maybe pleasant. Depends on what you think. Demonetized, right? YouTube doesn't like that. But thank you so much to Tough Gaming for sponsoring this episode, giving me this laptop to use for the whole recording, build quality, military grade. Arashi loves that shit, bro. Military grade. If Arashi were to get a laptop, he's tactical, so he would get a Tough Gaming for sure.
Yeah.
Right, Arashi?
Grade.
Military grade. Go get yours today, boys. All right? Are you gonna get it? Okay, now let's move on then to the teams in MPL ID. Because, man, week 3. What do y'all think about week 3 here? I'm gonna bring it up real quick. Like, what's going on in week 3? Because I think a lot of stuff happened here in week 3 that kind of shocked people. ONIC getting a win streak after losing almost all their matches previously. GEEK fam not doing too hot. But let's start things with NAVI. Obviously, we're going to start from the bottom, 9th place team. How would you fix NAVI? I mean, at this point, I think we're all tired of talking about NAVI. We've been saying the same thing 3 weeks in a row. So, any new solutions or anything new you want to add to NAVI? Or we might just like this short segment here.
Well, I'll just say that I feel like sometimes the draft, there's vision behind the drafts.
Yep.
It really feels like the execution, right? So I feel like if they really want to get a clear-cut, quick way to really like shape up and do much better, I feel like they can kind of get someone who can who can do like VOD reviews and kind of fix the execution, right? Because I mean, like for instance with DEWA, just to draw some comparisons here, for the most part the drafts aren't crazy. Nothing like insane happens and we're all like caught completely off guard. Something that really just destroys their opponent's picks and all that. But it seems like the execution is so much better now, right? And we discussed that it might be because of Watt and how he's so diligent in the reviews and stuff. So I feel like they can kind of get someone to try and do that. And maybe it won't solve all the problems, but I think it'll be a good step in the right direction, honestly.
Aldo is a good coach, to be honest. Good deeds, good versatility, I'd say. But I would want to argue that maybe they can try promoting their academy players, but I have been seeing a few of their academy games. It's not the best. I don't think their academy players are MPL ready yet. So for me, I don't want to be harsh, but I think it's a GG nice try. You go next for the next season, and then you can keep the core, like we said last week, CV, Cars, Hanafi. I think he was able to show signs of brilliance, but it's just not consistent. In MPL, you got to be consistent.
Yeah, I think that's the problem here. I think for me, personally, what I would say to Navi is there's 3 weeks that you have. Utilize the 3 weeks. MPL ID, I think after week 2, encourages, or not, doesn't encourage, but has a system where you can buy new players. You can implement, you can get new players. I think ONIC showed that in week 3, bringing Ryota in from the Philippines. So if you guys want to, use some money, get some players, I think it'll be great. Jungler. They need a jungler.
They do.
Aether, Worshipal, both don't cut it. Not MPL level. I think currently you could trust the process, but then you would waste Kars and Shive. Because Kars and Shive, they're technically already there. They can perform. If you want to have some players who want to reach that level, Hanafi, X Magic, that's enough. Having a jungler that, again, is very mid isn't the best. They gotta go for some changes here in the jungle for sure.
Especially the current meta, right?
Yeah.
Like the jungle is so important right now, man. All these teams are having game plans like that's kind of they kind of rely on the jungler just doing good things around the map. Whether it's farming, killing, or getting neutral objectives, there's something the jungler has to do for a lot of these teams right now. So I feel like it's just so important.
W junglers.
W junglers. All right, so thank you, Navi. We're going to move on to Geek Fam then. Mr. Geek Fam. Okay. What happened to Geek Fam? It looked like they were already getting the gist of the meta. at the start of the week, they beat TLID, reverse sweeping TLID without a chip. Chip was picked up by Witty game 1. That's the only game that TLID won. And that was, we'll get to TLID later because we got to talk about that. But Geek Fam. Then after that, Chip was global banned. I don't know if you guys know this, but right after that match, right after day 1, Chip got global banned because there's apparently a bug with Chip's shortcut. Whenever he pops into ult, everybody just lags. So that's something that they got to fix. That's why we didn't get to see Chip week 3, day 2 onwards. But yeah, we saw it in day 1. And Beloy said in the interview that with new heroes like the Chip now being prioritized in the bans, it has enabled the entire team because, you know, some of these picks are left open and they can snatch some of those. 1 win, 1 loss.
They were showing signs of, I think, of greatness. The way they read the draft. Remember how now I think it's a Jawhead Suyo meta, right?
Yeah.
It has so much oppressiveness in the jungle. It's also picked up by MPLPH a few times. And there was this one instance, I forgot which game was it. I think they picked up the Cho Hanzo as a response to that.
Yep.
And the Cho Hanzo kind of screens the Suyo. The Suyo is not able to perform at all in the early game. It's very hard for the Suyo to operate. The Jawhead as well has to stick with the Suyo, and that means that, you know, the lane proximities are just not achieved. And I think these little things that Geek Fam are doing shows that they're able to also have an answer to the drafts happening in MPL ID now. The Cho Hanzo was a very, very good pick. I think Beloyski with Cho, you know, it's a 50-50.
Shevin said, "Don't use Cho." By the way, just want to say it. Just want to put that out there.
Broadcast, but you gotta say it again.
Yeah, it feels like you flip a coin every time you see Beloyski play the Cho.
Yeah.
And some instances he was able to engage, some not. Another point maybe is Make It. I think this kid again has potential to be up there. He was playing the Suyo. He was going 4-0, 4-2 in the early game. I feel like, yeah, Geek Fan on the right track. But again, I think that win against Team Liquid ID was monumental, but they had to face another loss, so we'll stop there.
Well, for Geek Fam, I feel like, honestly, I feel like we are seeing less individual moments coming in from Geek Fam. Aside from maybe like Chidera, right? Because they actually put him in in a spot to do so, you see individual moments. But overall, it seems like their real weapon right now is just that macro game, man. I think we've seen them go up against global presence, like go up against things like the Loyi, things like the Chip sometimes, as well as like other heroes with with long distance ultimates and all that, repositioning tools. And they just find ways to control the wave. They find ways to use the timing of the Lord and all that. I really feel like overall the team individually isn't doing anything too crazy. It's just like literally a team effort. If you see in the movies, in the anime, it's like, oh, it's not about the individual, it's about the team. I feel like this season's Geek Fam really shined that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, to be honest, I'll be watching the game, right? And then they'll ask us like, hey, who do you think is the MVP? And I'll be like, who is the MVP? Because it feels like it's just a whole team effort and no one really did like anything too crazy, which is good and bad. I feel like the good part is that, you can always rely on the team, right? They're kind of like united and it's a team game. It's always
Geek Fam United. They're also 8th.
But at the same time, like when no one has that, that X factor, eventually when people wisen up and they kind of like get used to like the macro approaches, if a team can do that macro approach and have like highlight moments like 1v3, 1v2 outplays, then Geek Fam will be really in trouble. And I feel like with the current season, the level of the teams are just going up so high that I don't think it's realistic to assume that teams will not reach that level this season. So at least the top 3, top 4, top 5 even, I feel like we'll reach that level. So if Geek Fam wants to actually do better, I feel like they have to kind of bring back that individual shot.
They gotta get good.
The boy crazy plays, the Beloyski crazy plays.
Oh boy, yeah. He
Right?
hasn't been performing that
He's
much.
been kind of like coasting.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think so.
See, like back then, there's like, oh boy, with the game-changing moments. We haven't seen that as much, and I don't know if that's because of how they are playing the game, etc. But I feel like they would need that, right? Because again, if they don't, as the weeks roll by, they're gonna eventually start shifting further down again and get kind of locked out from the top 5.
I mean, Chidera, I feel like the X factor is in Chidera, to be honest.
Yeah.
When the late game comes in, this is where this guy shines. But again, this guy is not beating the allegations of only being able to play 3 heroes. Carry, Claude, and Moskov.
Harith.
Now Harith.
4, that means. And I don't know why. I think it was TLID against TLID. They did not ban the Moskov.
No.
So yeah, but imagine if Geek Fam will try to instate chip into their gameplay. They have so much global presence then.
Yeah.
They have the shortcut, and then Chidera can do his own thing up
Yep.
top with the SOD global plays.
I think we saw the combo this week.
The chip? No.
Moskov chip?
Oh, no. We didn't get to see it from...
For Geek Fam.
not for Geek Fam.
Not for Geek Fam, but I think we saw it some...
Chip Moskov. Was it Aaron? Was it Aaron
Moskov
and
was-
Widdy?
Yeah.
It was Aaron and Widdy?
Yeah, I think it was Aaron and Widdy.
I think it was game 1 for TLID. But yeah, I agree. I think right now, Geek Fam are the most one-dimensional that they've ever been. Like in MPLID, they, again, mostly rely on Chidera with the Moskov. That's it. Cho screening, Chidera, Moskov, macro. That's about it. I don't know what's going on with the boy because again, we rate this guy really highly as as a mid laner in Indonesia. I think just last season we would put him in top 3 for sure. We would put him maybe in contention for number 1 even, just like on the basis of individual level. He was really really good last season, but I don't know. Is it maybe him finally reaching his peak and not being able to improve again while the other mid laners have improved, or has it been his picks? Because I feel like for a boy, he's kind of been forced on these utility picks. That's why I didn't really like it. I remember the Aurora pick very vividly, and I was like, yeah, sure, the Aurora can make plays, but with the way that they are playing, it's mostly just like, all right, you wait for Beloyski to go in, you wait for Gobs to go in, and then you follow up. It's not like you make a play. But when he did get the Farsa, together with Chidera's Harith, they were able to get, a win. I think it was against RRQ as well. Game two, I believe that Harith, and then macro. So not completely one-dimensional, but in a way, in MPL, only having 2 strats that gets you wins is one-dimensional. And the problem is, the Moskov isn't even a surefire win.
Yeah.
He was beaten on the Moskov a couple of times against RRQ. RRQ did that. RRQ read them. So top teams can beat them without even banning out or denying the Moskov.
Well, that's exactly the point, right? We've seen that a lot of teams now, I feel like whenever we see teams go up against Geek Fam, there's a very clear intent to shut down the gold laner, right? The roams go that way. The setups, if they trade for a turtle, sometimes they will try and get some extra farms and whatever. But when it gets Geek Fam, when you lose a turtle, then it's like 3-man dive the gold lane always, I think. We've seen that very, very often now. So I feel like teams are wisening up to the fact that, okay, you have 2 really good strats, but there's ways to counter them,
Yeah.
And it's only a matter of time. It's something that it's not something that requires crazy execution to perform, right? It's just like decision making.
Yeah.
So I feel like when teams understand it, it's very possible, and not even only for the top 5 teams. Teams like in the 7th position. I mean, looking at the list right now, 6 Team Liquid, 7 DEWA, 8 Geek, right? I feel like those 3 teams, if you put them against Geek Fam, even though Geek Fam is there, they will know how to do that, to shut down the gold laner. Because shutting down the gold laner it's a strat we've seen for a while now, man. It's there.
Okay, so I think with that, by the way, so for Geek Fam, I think we can conclude it to individual performances need to be better. They need to understand meta. They need to be able to learn the meta. Yeah, the chip global ban is not the best for them, but only having Moskov and Harith and technically Beloyski, a guy with usually high numbers when it comes to unique heroes, only playing Cho, only playing very limited heroes now, is kind of weird. I would love to see him on the Jawhead. I would love to see him try to use the meta picks like the Tigreal as well. We've seen Edok do really well on it. So meta picks individually, they need to get better. They need to step up, and that's about it. I think stop relying on just these one-dimensional strategies. So.
Right.
Let's move on to DEWA United, because this is another team that found early success, 2-0 start to the season, and now they are on a 3-lose streak. We thought maybe they would be able to break that lose streak with Alter Ego, the Alter Ego match. They were able to win game 1, but then again, oh my god. I'm going to start things off, by the way, by saying they have gimmicks, they have gimmick picks that work, and after they make these gimmick picks work, they're like, all right, let's try something else. Let's try something completely different. I don't understand, especially with a very similar composition. They have in game 1 against Alter Ego. This is where I want to really emphasize, right? The match against Alter Ego. Game 1 against Alter Ego, they picked up the Lunox combo again,
Right.
with the Jawhead, and it worked so well. Alter Ego didn't know what to do. Maybe that was also because they played with Gebe, to be fair. Then I think I forgot if it was game 2 or game 3, but they got the Jawhead again. But they didn't go for the Lunox. They were scared. I don't know why. Watt has said in the interviews that he likes the Lunox. Octa is clearly better on Lunox than any other pick. But
Yeah.
they decide not. I feel like this is an amateur coaching mistake. Not wanting to go for the same thing again. We've seen a lot of teams go for the same exact draft and then not working in game 2. But I think in this specific game, especially with the changes in XP and gold, they changed a few heroes here and there that Lunox would have fit in, because there were so many tanky members on Alter Ego side that would have been punished by the Lunox plus the Jawhead. So that's my problem right now. I see it as an experience problem. Earlier, Watt was able to get really good results, but now, as the patch shifted, as the meta now we're seeing new heroes, he is struggling. He's struggling to keep his composure. He's struggling to keep the consistency that he showed in the first few weeks. First week.
I think that's fair. I mean, he's new as a coach, right?
Yeah.
So it's not beyond imagination that he would have issues, especially with like this, the quick adjustments after a patch. So I feel like they might get better as the weeks go by, when there's more time for him to actually get used to.
And he will get 2 new coaching staff, Bombi and Kirk. So there you go. He's gonna have reinforcements. He's no longer gonna be soloing. He looks super stressed the last few weeks, but he'll finally have some backup. So there you go for week 4.
But for DEWA, I really feel like their approach of using the Lunox is really good, in a sense that for the longest time now, it seems like the mid lane, what you need to be a good mid laner is wave clear, right? Wave clear and then help your jungler.
Yeah.
That seems to be the idea. We haven't seen a lot of these like real dangerous mid lanes that can actually like do a lot of damage, can actually be a threat, especially with the changes to the meta, with the revitalized, the healing meta. A lot of times in the previous meta, right, it seems like, these Hylases, these Gatots, they're just a bit too tanky for the mid lane to really threaten alone. And sometimes, even if the mid lane 1v1s the roamer, especially in the early levels, they find it difficult. They might even get pressured back, you know? That's where all these strats where we've seen, even in M6, like the Bellarigs come in, the Gatots, the Hylases, they're just making a wall right there. The Phoviuses, right? Send a wall right there, the Hildas. And then the mid lane has to kind of wait behind, wait for a chance to help out, kind of. So, as a mid laner myself, I feel like that having a mid lane that can really be a threat is a very valuable tool. And I feel like for DEWA, that approach of using the Lunox allows them to do so. And it works so well with Octa as well. Because a lot of times, the critiques we've heard about Octa is his decision making on when to be aggressive, and he overextends. But now on the Lunox, even if he overextends, that Brilliance Order comes in clutch. He has a way to outplay the situation. And on top of that, because they're having that aggressive style there, because they do want to have this, we've seen them draft for more pick-off heavy style. Now that they have the Lunox, even in the early game, that Chaos Order allows them to melt through even the Gatots, whichever tanky member you pick. So it forces the enemy, the opposition, to at least be a bit more careful about it. They can't really abuse that tankiness anymore. So I feel like that was a great move by DEWA. Yeah, I agree with you. After a while, like, okay, where's that approach? That I think that theory, that mindset, right? Having more damage and outplayability in the mid lane. If it works for them, even though it's not meta, I feel like go with it. Because if it works,
If it ain't broke,
don't fix it.
don't fix it.
Exactly. Especially because, like, I'm the guy who always says, like, oh yeah, it's possible, unlikely but possible. So now that you've proved it's possible, why not double down? Yeah.
I feel like for DEWA, again, you said a lot of things. I think, mostly what you said is true. But I just want to highlight again, I think, I'm not trying to discredit Octa, but for, like, I don't know, 2 weeks now, 3 weeks, he has been the weakling.
Yeah.
DEWA United
I think so.
And maybe still performing on a pretty high note. But at least for DEWA, number one, Watt has backup. It was recently announced that he will have 2 coaches with him as well, Bombi and Kurt. And number 2, I feel like the momentum is right for them, because they will have this 3-week break. Of course, they can try to readjust it. Their new coaches, maybe fix a couple of things. Maybe this will be the time where Watt will get insights, and DEWA might go back to meta picks.
Yeah,
that's fine. At least you're now more methodical. You have a baseline of what system you want to build, and when push comes to shove, maybe you can play the curveball picks, the pocket picks, the gimmick picks, like you said. So Lunoxes or whatnots, and I think that just adds more dimension to what DEWA will try to achieve.
Yep.
And on this 3-week break, I hope they will squeeze out everything, so the chemistry is there for the coaches.
So I agree. Firstly, I want to emphasize that even more. Octa has been a weak link, but obviously he's the weak link. I think everybody knows that. But he has been one of the core. And this sounds harsh, but like the reasons for them losing games a lot of times have been Octa. We can talk about the draft all we want, right? Talk about Watt making some mistakes here and there, but again, when you have a player like Octa who just cannot perform on the low Yi, by the way, like this is not an understatement, and this is not an attack to the player. This is just like objective analysis. If you watched his match when he played low Yi game 1, game 3, guys, oh my lord.
Yeah.
There was a total of 2 flank ultimates, and both were when they were already so far behind, and both were read out by Kyrie like it was nothing. And it just feels like, how usually low Yis would just use ults randomly to just, create a false sense of like, oh shit, they're going to try to flank us. And then you make your opponents overthink. He never uses ultimate. So by the time everybody disappears on the map, it's like, wow. I got the map
where they are.
Yeah, like he makes everybody have the map awareness of Super Friends. It's like, wow, he hasn't ulted in 8 minutes, and the team just suddenly disappeared from the lanes. Okay. I wonder what's going on. Let me just shoot this arrow to a random.
How about this closest to the Lord?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows, right?
Yeah, like so. I think Octa needs to improve again. This is unfortunately he's not a rookie anymore, right? So he needs to step up quick. I think for DEWA, they have a really good team, but also one thing that I think a lot of people have not criticized yet is maybe. Because maybe has been the star for DEWA, and again, he can improve, but he still has a lot of potential. He's a really good goal laner. But I think he's getting exposed as a Granger merchant right now. He plays Granger. He won on Granger. After that, he played the Irithel, he played the Harith, and the Harith, I was so disappointed. Because again, I liked maybe. Week 1, week 2, even in their losses, I was like, this guy's good. He knows what he's doing. He's getting proper farm. He's doing damage in the fights. It's not like, he's not a typical rookie who just chokes in the first few weeks. He's doing well. But then on the Harith, I was like, this looks like a maybe pick. This looks like something he'll do good at. No, he's the opposite of Chidera, bro. He's like Granger only, no Harith. Like Chidera is Harith only, no Granger. I don't know. Maybe he is feeling the jitters on the Harith. It is a higher execution level of hero. Yeah. It takes a higher level of execution to pull that off over the Granger. But yeah, I think that was one of the big reasons as to why they lost too. His Harith was not impactful. He brought Flicker too, by the way. That game when he brought Flicker was really weird. The next game when he played Harith, he brought Purify. So he at least realized his mistake, but it took too long. Team got dropped.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right, so let's move on then to Team Liquid ID.
Yeah.
This is the 6th team on the standings, and this is our defending champions. Liquid, it looked like last week they were getting back into their mojo, using Kyo in the gold lane. This week they played one match against GEEK fam. Witty said last week, all these teams better get ready for the patch because Witty the Y is about to show them. Witty the Y showed everybody with their game 1 performance against GEEK. I was like, damn. They were really prepared. They know the patch.
They read the patch.
And then right as the chip got banned, Witty's like, shit. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, to be fair, it was also Aaron. So this is the same thing that we talked about last week. Something we had to cut. A lot of people noticed that. Realizes will choose if he wants to disclose that information. But again, I gotta ask the question: Aaron or Kyo?
It's time to try to, I think, give competition to Aaron because he has been feeling very comfortable.
So you think the loss was also there was was Aaron a big factor in their loss?
I'd say a factor.
He got solo killed by Chidera.
He did.
Oh my lord, I just remembered.
You don't want to get solo killed by Chidera.
The guy you shit talked so last season when they met GEEK Fam and Liquid, Aaron beat Chidera, He didn't solo kill him, but he beat him in lane. And in the interview, he said, "Oh yeah, dude, just Chidera guy is kind of bad. Like all he does is call for Beloy." And they got their revenge for sure. Chidera got a solo kill.
was so good.
But Chidera's so chill, man. He's like, "Oh no, it gave me motivation." Beloy's the guy who's like, "Yeah, he was just asking for my help, yeah."
Who's talking now?
The evil villain arc Beloy. But yeah,
He's been on his
Yeah.
villain arc.
for a
The
while.
war crime
I don't
general.
understand what's happening with Aaron again. Information disclosed. It was last week we had to cut it, but yeah,
Yep.
there's some things going on.
We'll tell you after
Yeah,
this.
just tell me after. You're
But
keeping me in the
behind-
dark.
Members only.
Members yeah,
only.
subscribe, members only. But yeah, there's I don't know. He has been underperforming. I think it's not fair to just criticize him, but it's out there in the
Yeah.
in the open that he has not been comfortable. I don't know what's happening. You would always argue, with the Granger pick, with the Moscow pick, he will always be very, very comfortable. But yesterday he just got exposed hard by Geek Fam, and they
Yeah.
did not. I don't know. They had a very good result with Kyo, but why not try him again? Maybe they will have those 3 weeks to fix everything. But yeah, I think after the chip ban as well, they had no choice again because you know how much TLID loves the chip. They really love the chip.
It's a great pick for Witty.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, TLID. I hope they fix their mistakes.
So who did they deploy Kyo against?
I think it was
It was DEWA. It was DEWA.
yeah
DEWA.
that 8-minute game. I mean, to be fair, yeah, it's DEWA, but again, DEWA is above Geek Fam. So
Oh yeah, I mean,
if you want to give the benefit of the doubt,
there's that. I'm curious to see there was that one moment, I believe during M6, right, where he
Yeah.
was he was talking about Alter Ego and how he was talking shit about Alter Ego so badly, and then Alter Ego were one of the guys who actually helped him prepare
Yeah.
for M6, and he said he felt like shit,
Yeah.
absolute what's the word he used? Hina. There you go.
Yeah.
Gue ngerasa hina banget. I felt like
He felt like
Disgusting.
he felt disgusted basically that he did that, right?
himself.
yeah, because he was such a bitch to them, and they ended up helping him afterwards. And then afterwards, we saw the kind of the reformed Aaron, where he's no longer
Yeah.
trash talking all that.
The not so spicy boy.
Now, so my question is, does that bleed over into the gameplay?
Mm.
Because you know for a fact that sometimes when you're in the game, especially in a lane where you can try and go for a solo kill and all that, make the outplays happen.
Yep.
Sometimes the ego, the confidence
Yeah.
is a big part of that, right? If you don't feel like you're better than them, you don't feel like it's possible. You don't think of these opportunities to outplay, to get an advantage, to get a solo kill. So I do wonder if that's the main thing. Maybe it's not okay. Maybe it's not the main thing, but I wonder if that's a factor, right? His shift in mindset, and then the dip in his performance. And if so, I'm just curious to see if anyone has I don't know a similar experience and whether you can get over it.
Yeah.
Because it's unfortunate. It's not a bad thing that he quote unquote reformed, right? I mean, we prefer the spicy Aaron,
Yes.
but even if
We
you
do,
reform,
by a lot.
it's all right. We can't really force you into it when you don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like it. But if it causes a dip in performance like that, I wonder if the coaching staff or whatever can kind of work around it somehow, or whether or not that just shift in mindset
Yeah.
is just kind of fatal. And if it is, that's so unfortunate. It's a weird angle to come in from, but that was
Yeah.
what I was thinking about because the timing, right?
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah. I think for me, on top of that, TLID have always been a very a team who's relied on individual mechanics a lot as well, like Fabian, Aran, even Witty on the show, the confidence. Yeah, Hezkiel, obviously Hezkiel as well. Every single one of them have, the team, all the way to the M6 Grand Finals, all the way to them being able to beat ONIC PH in the Snapdragon group stage to making it third place. I think a lot of that could be, yes, strategy, draft, macro, sure, but mostly it's how good they are individually, their mechanics. They're known to to just win out the brawls.
Yeah. Yep.
And everybody has kind of lost that flair, even Fabian. And that's what's most shocking to me, because I think, okay, for Aaron, for Yezkiel, maybe it depends on the gold lane, the meta itself, but for Fabian, this guy, it looked like mechanically he's just gifted. Did they get complacent? Did they already? Did they feel like, all right, we got champions, we got second place at M6, this is the best first season that any pro team has ever achieved. First season, right? Like they just joined MPL with this debut lineup of rookies. So it's once in a lifetime. It's literally, I don't think we'll ever see something like this again where rookies get promoted and they win MPL. So without the individual presence, I think they've lost. On top of all the points that we made. You want to add something before we move to ONIC?
I mean, do we call it like? Someone mentioned it like, oh, it's like Fair-Six syndrome.
Oh, Fair-Six syndrome. The one
It's in the context, right?
one season wonder. Oh my! Now that
It was insane.
Yeah, and then
Super peak.
Yeah.
Next season.
yeah.
he went from the best in the first season to an average Joe.
Yeah, because I heard it somewhere like, dude,
Yeah.
it's Fair-Six syndrome. Like, oh,
Damn, that's actually deep.
But what is it with TLID and the rookies? You know, Gugun won
Rookie of the season.
and then where is he now? He's on the scene. And then Fabian won
Rookie of the season, regular season MVP,
And
blah
now
blah
he's
blah 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 blah.
Hell on, same thing. Like the rookies, they perform very well on their first, maiden season. Like Gugun was so insane, even it was calling attentions from everyone, and now he's just gone. So I feel
I'll have a late roller.
is it like an internal problem where they're not able to manage their rookies? I don't know. This is obviously it's
theoretical.
theoretical.
Yeah.
It's not an
Questions.
assumption.
It's a fair one. It's a fair one because again, for TLID, even before this, they have never won MPL. So it might be a culture shock to not TL, but the management of TLID, right? I mean, Team Liquid. If it was Team Liquid's management, if it was like the management that has won fucking internationals, TIs, majors, and CS, they wouldn't give a fuck. But the Indonesian management has never won a trophy before, right? So that might be a reason. They might just be like, oh shit, well, what do we do? How do we keep these guys from in check, or do we just let them
do they
do
have, like,
whatever they want?
Egos going out of
Yeah,
control.
it's their first time experiencing something like this, from like overnight success, literally.
And sometimes that also results in conflicts,
Yep.
like contract-wise. I think it's no secret that the
Yeah, they
team,
for sure got bumps in their pay. They for sure got bumps in their pay, right?
They felt like they deserve more, but they're not getting it.
I don't think so. I think Liquid won't do that to them. I think because they're Liquid. Maybe if they were still Aura, then they'll be like, okay, maybe there's some money issues. Maybe. And even then, I think it's a stretch because I think they're pretty good financially.
Yeah,
But
They're able to
like-
keep Echo.
But when someone's on that hype train, right? I think I'm not trying to. That wasn't an attempt to throw shit at Liquid. But I'm saying that for some people, right, when they're in the highest of highs, they go in, they win immediately as a rookie. Sometimes enough just isn't enough. You know what I mean? Maybe initially
Gotta
it's
go for
enough,
more.
and then they're feeling after a while like, well, hang on a second, I'm all that. I'm the
They're
top
them.
dog. I'm him. It's my story. I'm the main character, right?
Yep.
And what of season 2? So you do wonder if that becomes an issue because we all know that like contracts and mindset it weighs heavily on like player performance in the scene. I don't know about other countries, but in Indonesia at least, I think for sure that is a factor. So again, me and Realize, we're not been attacking some of these teams and players.
Fucking lick. I'm joking.
These are just questions that we are wondering about.
Yeah.
Okay, full disclosure.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were saying like the whole Fair-Six syndrome thing is kind of deep.
Yeah, Fair-Six syndrome is deep, dude. Because Fair-Six, I mean, just remembering Fair-Six is crazy. The
Benedetta
season
jump
that he had in season 7, dude. Wow. That's a topic for another day.
It's a similar like story though, right? He was a rookie.
Yeah, he was a rookie. But that was even crazier, I feel. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. For me, it's kind of crazy because the team he joined was a team full of fucking legends. It was Luminaire, Anti-Mage. You know how big those egos are, bro? It's wrecked. Luminaire, Anti-Mage. Clover's the only guy without a fucking ego. Like, everybody had massive egos. That team didn't work because they all had egos. They didn't want to listen to each other. Fair-Six came in. He was so good. He shut everybody up. Like, how do you do that? How do you shut Anti-Mage up?
Yeah.
That guy can't stop yapping. It's my goat, by the way. It's my favorite XP of
Now
all
he's a
time.
full-time yapper.
Yeah. Now he's a full-time yapper. Fits his role. We're going to move on to ONIC.
Just saying though, there's that quote that the brightest candles burn the fastest.
Oh, the brightest stars as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the
they
saying, the
burn
brightest
out
stars, they
fast.
burn out.
Yikes, man.
Hey, man, Fair-Six, I don't think you're coming back, but what you had was special, man. ONIC, let's move on to ONIC. 5th place currently in the standings. I think, okay, Realize. Say what you want to say.
Told you. So is this
Get the fuck out of here.
this guy keeps telling me, oh, we have the best gold laner in MPL ID. We have the best roam in MPL ID. Severo shuts you down. Ryota.
Oh my
What a
god.
debut that was.
Oh my
ONIC are
god.
so damn good.
Yeah.
This
Severo is really good.
This is where it gets real.
Ryota, I gotta give props for when, you know, I gotta give credit when credit's due.
I love how he's a very in my glasses. He's a very traditional XP.
Ryota?
Yeah, Ryota. By that I mean he's an XP who's number one, very unselfish.
Yeah.
He roams
Very
to the
selfless.
level 3, level 4. He comes in.
Yep.
And he just supports you. He's the type of the XP that peels for the team.
Yep.
He goes in for the body blocks. He sets up the objectives for you. Maybe if we draw comparisons to Boots or to Lutpi, these guys are the flashy guys. These guys are the initiators. But for Ryota, it's all about holding the damage.
Yeah.
Just absorbing,
Soaking.
soaking it in for the team, and
Soaking
he
damage.
just sets up everything for the team. The
Yeah.
objectives, the kill threats, the skirmishes, and I
Yep.
think that was the first debut without Severo.
Yeah.
With Severo, my God, Severo is just a madman. This guy massacred the best goal laner in MPL ID.
Nah. That's a bit too far. Eman is still the best goal laner in ID. We'll talk about that
But I want
later.
to talk about how Severo is he's playing ultra aggressive.
Yeah.
This guy's a
That's
madman.
something CW doesn't have, right?
that's true.
Like I think the calculation, everything,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, CW. But when it comes to just fucking
Instincts.
instinctual aggression,
Yeah.
that's where Severo takes it, and I think that's what ONIC kind of need right now.
I was going
Rashi.
to laugh in the middle of that sentence because feet's back on the menu.
If you guys membership only, this is a tease. Membership only. Go ahead, realize channel, only fee.
Only feet. Well, I feel like I guess more on Bigetron later, right? I
Yeah,
guess.
more on the best team in the world.
But I do feel like Ryota. Ooh man, his. I feel like a lot of times we talk on broadcast about how this team has such little crowd control and they have to kind of ration it and make it work, right? I think Ryota was so good at that in the games we saw this week, at least. There's so many times where he's. I think you were mentioning it as well, Mirko.
Yep.
Like when he was using the Phobias and he just would not use that passive, and he would use that passive as a fourth skill.
Yep.
And we haven't seen that for a long time, and I feel like some players now are taking notes, like, oh, damn, he can do that, right? Because like every single time there was a jungle brawl and all that,
Yeah.
he would start hitting the jungler with the passive, right? Before we would see people just use the wave, try and get the wave to stop the jungler from getting a red share and all that. He would just find them with the passive. I believe there was a moment where he would even flicker passive to start off the engagement, and it's just really cool to watch like a whole different approach to using the hero. I don't know if he's been doing that and we're just only now seeing it over here in Indonesia, but that's cool, man. It's great to see. And along with that, yeah, Severo, man, I feel like the way the fact that they were able to bring such a big difference, I feel like it immediately transformed how ONIC were able to play.
That's
It's
Yeah.
not just what they were doing; it's what the opposition has to respect now. What possibilities they actually have at their disposal that make their presence like so good. And I feel like that also the aggressiveness also means that there's more, because the calculated style is great, but when you have more aggressive moments, more risks you're taking, sometimes it also results in your opponents wanting to capitalize, wanting to punish you, not wanting to let you get away with just trying something like that disrespect. And I feel like a couple of ONIC games I watched this week, their opponents get kind of baited in, overextended, and they just knew exactly how to punish it. So I think it's a great showing. We asked this question a couple of weeks back where, we want to see what was planned, because they were talking about, we wanted Severo, it's a different situation, it's a different ONIC. Well, now we're finally seeing like what they had planned out, and it's looking pretty good, right? And if they can kind of, build even more during this break, oh man, when we come back, ONIC is gonna be a serious threat.
Because I think we had concerns about Adi's drafting as well.
Yeah.
Week 1 to week 3, and that disappeared with Ryota and Severo. So was it a hero pool issue as well that they had with the previous XPs, Nile and Rez? Again, I got Nile and XP, Badang. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe the patch also kind of helped Adi. Maybe his playstyle, you could see more of it now. And to be fair, I mean, it's not like he did anything revolutionary in the drafts.
Yeah.
He had a template, and it worked. It's just Suyo, Jawhead, Sicilian in the first phase. Every single game, Suyo, Jawhead, Sicilian. And against Bigetron Esports, they banned 4 fucking gold laners, bro. They
That was cool.
That
was
was
crazy.
the point I was about to make.
yeah, they smacked
We respect
Eman. They respect
gold laner.
But
the
I mean,
best gold
confidence
laner.
to just go like, you know what?
Yeah.
All you got is your gold laner. Just
Yeah.
start like hammering down on the bans. Respect, bro. That was a big dick energy move.
W Adi, Bren. W Adi.
But I do still think Adi needs supporting staff. Still, I go by that.
Hmm.
He needs.
But he
help
wants to
as
fly
well.
solo.
But he want what if it's his choice?
Well, again, if it's his choice, then go for it. You know.
Okay.
But
I thought he was gonna say like, I disagree.
Yeah, just fucking
Fuck.
just get a assistant coach, Adi.
I feel like if he does have supporting staff, he has more insight.
Yeah.
An overview of the game. But if you have 5 robots who can do the job for you, I don't think you need supporting staff. But yeah, I think help would be very, very nice for Adi.
So ONIC basically like reverse DEWA. They
Yeah.
found something that works. Screw it. Like
Yeah.
screw it.
Adi is literally
After
reverse
week
Watt. Yeah.
2, After week 2, same exact draft.
Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom.
he was. We were watching it as well. Like, what could he possibly be doing it again?
Suyo, Jawhead,
Suyo,
Sicilian.
Jawhead,
Wow, we
Sicilian.
called it.
Who could have predicted?
Yeah, I think
Crazy.
it's good though. You know, having players as good, I mean, individually as good as ONIC. And by the way, Sans is performing again.
Yay.
His Keyboy is performing again. That was also one of the
Keyboy.
My question is like, fuck, where was this last week? So was it just not having your main lineup? Because I mean, I spoke to Yeb. I don't, if you guys want to watch me recap week 1, I said this. Yeb told me we don't have our real lineup. Calm down, like chill. It's all chill. And I can't help but think that yeah, it's true. Because like the way they played with Ryota and Savero was, I mean, glimpses of Prime ONIC. The way they played in week 1, week 2, glimpses of fucking Navi. You know what I mean? Let's be honest here. So hey,
Well, to be fair, it might just be either. It's probably either they don't want to get used to the lineup that's not their main lineup.
Yeah,
So they're playing
exactly.
conservatively and like maintaining the muscle memory, the decision making with the real lineup,
Yep.
right? Or it's just hesitation.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, when you know the guy you've been playing, there's we call it chemistry, right? But it's also the fact that I kind of know what he wants to do, what he wants to do. That's the same thing on desk and all that. When you remove even just one person, technically, if you use a casting as an example, let's say this is the lineup. You change one person, the whole broadcast changes. You know,
Okay.
if you change the play-by-play, you change the color caster, things just change immediately because we have to actually figure out as well. Okay, we have a different color caster. What does he usually do? If I say this, will this bounce off well, right? So
Yeah.
what we do also is associated with what the guy does. So one person changing still makes a big impact as well. So I feel like that's probably like the main factors there why they were, you know, why Yep was still pretty confident, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, wait till the real lineup comes through, because maybe they've been making sure that lineup at least stays in prime condition.
okay. So let's move on then to the 4th team, Bigetron Esports. Now, okay, Jesus Christ.
Woo!
All right.
BTR.
Bigetron.
I'll be honest with you. Right now, Bigetron Esports isn't Bigetron Esports. They're Eman Esports. I mean, I'll be honest with you. This is a team that should be on paper the best team in the world. I'm joking. No, actually, I'm not joking. Best team in the world. At least best team here, right? They have Luke. Annabelle, Moreno, Light, Eman, brother. Like, what is going on with Bigetron Esports? I don't understand it. As a fan, this hurts because this should be our season, man. But what the I don't know. It really feels like it's just Eman. We have one really good player. It's like bootleg Navi, bro. I'm not even bootleg. It's like Navi better. You know, we everybody else is better than the
Pro Max.
Navi Pro Max. It's Navi Pro Max. It's like we have a better Shive, we have a better Aether, we have a better fucking cars. It's their same playstyle too. Luke is the initiator, enabler.
You're right.
The jungle is kind of like a secondary carry right now. Moreno even has. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. Everybody has lost their individual flair. It's like they lost their individual flair. I think that there's a lot of that in this season. Luke, when he tilts, bro. He went 0-8 on the Lucas. Luke, my boy, that's my goat. Wow. Moreno is forced on Vexanas and like just very not Moreno picks, not full carry Moreno picks. Eman's still Eman, so I guess they have that. Light is light when he gets Cho, but every other pick he's like, he's not light. He's dark. Yeah, sure. Light, dark, sure. I don't know, man. Even Annabelle. There was this chat.
Yeah.
Mathilda. Oh my God, this was the Bigetron went Mathilda,
They picked up the Joy.
and then they went Joy, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was the
Do I
point.
need to turn back the clock to season 11? EVOS Annabelle was, and the whole tagline was Annabelle's online.
Yeah.
He was the only guy who picked Alpha. Now you have a chance to pick Alpha with Mathilda Alpha. Go Mathilda Joy.
To be fair, we haven't seen a lot of alphas though.
We have Ray. Well, not a lot, but like,
We've seen some.
but still, Mathilda Alpha. It's
Yeah.
like, come on, man.
The point I was trying to make is that are they just not good at the current meta?
Yeah, they're not.
Because Luke, aggressive laner, playmaker. Now, come on, EXP is not
Screen,
like,
yeah, they're just
playmaker.
there.
It's a screening tool. It's an engage tool, right? The laning is non-existent. It's a bro lane for the most part.
Yeah.
So it's rough for him, and for same thing with the. So they have a new jungler, right? A jungler that we've theorized to not have like the best
NFL?
adjustment period.
Yeah.
Needs more time, and the meta right now is very jungle centric too,
Mm-hmm.
right? We talked about how the mid lane now isn't really as active as it used to be. This was the point we made for Geek Fam, right?
Yeah.
Moreno, right? We don't see the mid lane carry, the Moreno carry, right? We
No.
see Moreno utility, right? And they're relying on Eman because it's jungle first and then the gold lane.
Yeah.
Back then, dude, mid lane, Bigetron's mid lane on the Valentinas, on the Yeeves, dude, their mid lane was a real carry.
Moreno,
is a real carry,
my goat.
right? The Filipino mukbang guy.
Yeah, the Filipino mukbanger.
Yeah, but so now I feel like the meta,
Banger.
all things considered,
Ugh.
the fact that they have a really solid
Yeah.
lineup, I really do feel like there's a bit of unfortunately, unluckiness involved here with the EXP lane being less aggressive, the mid lane being less active.
Yeah. Even Luke's pick Badang got there, so it's like, fuck.
Yeah. Even,
Yeah.
Would you say Light is like a super aggressive initiator?
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't really been allowed to be playing those heroes.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of high losses and all that.
Got thought.
It's great and all that, but it's not. You said it yourself. When he's on the show, it's a different game.
Yeah.
right?
It's light.
So I feel like either they really get used to the current meta, or maybe the coach needs to try and do something risky and say, you know what, this is the meta, but it's not your style.
Yeah.
We might as well try doing your style, because at least at that point, like what made you special is still gonna be there. So I know you're a big meta for a reason, but I feel like it's worth a try. It's like almost worth a shot, like a different approach, honestly.
They have been going for the different approach. They've relied on like comfort picks or meta picks to just get the job done. Every time they start losing, they're like, all right, just pick the Cho.
But I feel like that's because they're doing the meta stuff. Oh, it doesn't work. Let's revert back to the comfort.
But even the meta picks aren't really meta. Like, I mean, it's not really the meta that we're seeing from all the other teams. The meta picks that they go for is their own style. Like, again, the chip fairness before the patch, the constant badangs, no CCs, and before the patch again, still to this day, never a CC. And Beatrix in the gold lane, it's 1-1 in the gold lane. It's always very different. Like their view of the meta is different compared to all the other teams. So even if we're talking about their meta, trying to force themselves into the meta, they aren't forcing themselves into the meta. They're really trying their own thing, and then once it doesn't work, they're like, all right, you know what? We haven't been trying meta anyways. Just fucking go comfort. What you want? Annabelle, you Nolan? You want Cho? You want Beatrix again?
So maybe I feel like if the plan A maybe is the comfort, then maybe there's a better chance of them actually like performing individually, right? And then maybe if it doesn't work, they do their weird stuff, and maybe then that would have a better chance at throwing off their opposition, right?
Maybe.
All maybes, right? We're just theorizing here what could happen, because again, we miss the good old Bigetron, man. Bigetron.
I miss the old
so crazy
Bigetron.
back
I
then.
miss the season 13 first place second release season Bigetron. I miss Cas Cute. Give me Cas Cute at NMM, bro.
That's cute. What did they let?
Shout out Reese Boy as well.
Oh my, nah, fuck Race Boy. He went to EVOS, bro. Yo, fuck you, Race.
I think my critic was I was about to make the point you made. They had the Mathilda. why did they pick why did they pick the Joy? They were up against a very aggressive lineup, and
Yeah.
until that Joy can't really win you objectives. It's much when you pick up the Alpha, you can go on the offense.
Exactly.
But when you pick up the Joy, it's much more.
Turtle
of a
one is tough.
initiation. So for the Joy, you can't really start it off. You
Yeah.
have to counter initiate,
Yeah.
and you can't really hold a turtle for yourself.
Yeah.
So that was a draft issue. I feel like
Uh-huh.
that pick just threw me off. I didn't understand why Bigetron did it. They could have done better, personally. But if you want to talk about individual performances, yeah, I feel like it's only Iman stepping up to the
My goat.
to the stage again. His goat got beaten by Severa, by the way. But
Oh hell
again,
no.
Luke.
4
it
fucking
feels
gold
like
lane bans.
Luke is not back to his prime.
Yeah.
You know the Luke, the classic.
No hate to Luke, my goat.
This is the
You can
return of
improve.
Givenchy.
Either
Givenchy.
The return. of
Givenchy was Luke's old nickname when he was still, you know, like
He was starting out.
he was learning.
it was still unknown back then. But yeah, again, like I really miss
Goddamn
either
Givenchy.
M5 Luke or
Oh
when
my
he
god.
first joined Bigetron.
When he outplayed Chorizo,
Yeah.
bro. Oh my god, that hurt as a VTR fan, but fuck, that was cool on the Lapu. Yeah.
But I hope Bigetron bounces back on their feet because ONIC were coming for their place.
They even picked Terizla last game against Navi. They were like, fuck this meta. They literally said, fuck this meta. Terizla, let's get in there. All right, let's move on to Alter Ego Esports top 3. Very unexpected top 3 finish for their week 3 performance here for Alter Ego. I'm going to say this to start things off. If Bigetron or Eman Esports, Alter Ego, they are Rin Esports, but not for the same reason. Bigetron, because the only guy who is carrying is Eman.
Yeah.
Alter Ego, Highs carries, Hijume carries, but they can't carry or they can't play that well. They're not online until Rin is in the lineup. For some reason, that's what Rin brings to the table. When they play with Gebe, they are a completely different team. And this is no shade to Gebe. I think Gebe is a team player. Gebe he enables the team. Maybe in the utility meta, Gebe would be the better choice. But in this meta, Rin enables the team much better just by playing aggressive because I don't know what it is. He really is always at the right place at the right time. Nino goes in for a lot of these random moves. We know Nino, right? We know this guy. He's kind of crazy sometimes. You know, he's kind of sabar, sabar, sabar. Sabar means patience. That's what he said a billion times, but he's not that type of guy. Yeah. He's very ironic, you know. But I like the guy. He's really good, especially with Rin, though. Like, again, Hijume. This guy's kind of fucking weird sometimes. Flickers forward. Dreams. This guy's kind of fucking... Everybody's kind of weird. Highs, flickers forward. But with Rin, it's like, damn, yeah. Like, this works, guys. We can flicker forward. We got Mr. Rin there. So... That's why I say it's Rin Esports. Not in the traditional way, where, you know, usually ONIC Kyrie Esports, Kyrie carries, Eman Esports, Eman carries. This is more of a one guy makes everybody else so much
It's like
better.
missing link. Almost.
Yeah, I think so.
The final piece of the puzzle.
He is, dude, I think Nile would have been the same, though. If this roster played with Nile last season, same thing.
See, I feel like the idea is that this is a team that wants to go aggressive. I mean, Highs
They won't go crazy,
goes
bro.
in there. Spear of Destruction onto 4 members.
Okay,
goes in there.
that's not a
I'm
good
just saying,
example.
I'm just saying, he goes in there.
He goes in.
He goes
He's
in.
he's a weirdo.
Nino-
They're all weirdos.
Nino goes in.
The Cho 1v4.
Wait. He goes in.
Yeah, Cho 1v4.
He goes in.
Dreams.
James. Yo. Goes in, right?
Tigreal. Ah!
So
Hijume. Faramis. Even Zephyr. He comes in. Ah! In the draft. He's like, what the fuck?
Even was taking a shit.
Yeah.
So, I feel like they all want to go in, and
all
every
wanna
single
go in.
time when they do, it's just not together, which is why we mentioned it. When Highs goes in 1v4, the issue isn't him going in. The issue is that he goes in
Alone.
the first guy. He's the first guy who goes in. He Spear of Destruction's behind 4 people, and then his team's like, oh. And
Oh
tries to
shit.
get to him.
He went in.
We said this on broadcast.
Yeah.
If the team, right, comes in first, catches them, and
then he
the,
does
the
this.
opposition's like, oh,
Yeah.
dang, Nino's coming in, or Dream's coming in. And then High shows up.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an outplay available there.
Maybe.
So I feel like with Rin there, what makes that effect you're talking about, the missing piece
Yeah.
effect, is the fact that now, instead of like waiting, if you're against Alter Ego, back then it's like, hey bro, like, you know, when's High's gonna do his thing, right? Like, you know, we're waiting for it, right? Like if in sports, it's like, he's the guy who's gonna shoot the ball all the
Yeah.
time. So you're like, all we have to do is send 3 people to box that guy in, you know, make sure the guy can't shoot, make sure the guy can't do damage.
Yep.
Well, now, in sports terms, there's more than one person who can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
So now you're like, oh, dang.
It's not just Mohamed Salah.
Rin, right? And the fact that Rin is so fucking unpredictable, right? Because he was against RRQ. Like,
He's kind of local, man.
he is so unpredictable. I mean, with the hair, with the hair and all that, he's crazy.
With his
right?
antics.
He's crazy. So you don't.
He's local, man.
No, you don't get a good read on what he's gonna do. So the fact that he's so unpredictable and yet so effective, like when he goes ham, and actually outplays and gets these moments. It kind of opens up windows of opportunity for highs for the other guys as well. I think that effect is what makes him like such a good fit right now. Because if you're just aggressive but predictable, it wouldn't work the same way. It's the fact that he's aggressive and unpredictable.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're thinking, okay, he's gonna be invading and stuff, and then he farms, and I'm like, wait, what?
Why?
Yeah,
because he's Rin.
But turns out he finds that advantage he wanted. He has his own plans, you know. He has his own vision.
Yep.
And then he goes in and he gets the job done. He wins the team fight. I'm like,
Damn.
that's crazy.
It's a very good team.
So they all just go in now.
They aggressive.
He was, I think it was in one of the, I think it was in Salvatore, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. You know, fun fact, he actually got me to voice over his finals MVP performance back in the day. I just found the clip.
What?
Maybe I could play it here if you guys want. But yeah, he actually contacted me to just yell out his name, like finals MVP Max Salvatore. That was his name.
Yeah.
So
What's his in-game name?
that was before. Yeah,
Used to.
he was Rin. Now when he was Urin. By the way, that's where he got his name.
Urin.
And then he went to Max Salvatore. Oh no, Urin, Rin, Max Salvatore to Rin again. Yeah.
This
So
guy.
he has a full name for his IGN.
Yeah, because Salvatore is a jockey clan.
Jokey.
Like it's a elo booster. It's an elo boosting service. Yeah.
He used to be a booster.
Everybody knows he's everybody knows he's ex booster.
And
Yeah.
that's why we doubted him, right?
Yeah.
We talked about how he's only a rank D, man. He won't perform on the stage.
Yeah.
He's a pop
He's like yeah.
on the stage, and he has.
He's dopa.
The old people.
Dopa,
Yeah.
I know.
Dopa.
The old people like term is pub stomper, but
Yeah.
Pub stomper.
And he has the ego as well. Ego that does not really destroy him.
Mm-hmm.
The ego that gives him the freedom to do whatever he wants, and it still works for Alter Ego.
Yep.
And I remember in the interview, as they close out the week, Bude was asking, why was Gebe not playing? And he said, Gebe took a shit.
Yeah. He had to take a shit, so I stepped in.
I had to sub in.
I remember he said like, "Oh, Gabe can like deal with the bottom half. I'm gonna wreck the top."
Yeah.
I did say
That was cold.
That was
No,
cold, but yeah.
This guy is cold, man.
Win. But I also want to give my props to Highs. I don't know what happened to this guy.
Gonnie's go.
Yeah, Gani fist bumped him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Gani effect.
I'm not even joking, guys. You guys can track this all the way to week 1. When Gani doesn't cast an alter ego play, Heist plays like shit. But when Gani is in the building, he becomes a god, bro. I'm not even, it's crazy. But every single time, Gani would just be like, "Yo, Heist, good luck, man," behind the scenes, and I'm like, all right, he's gonna pop off.
The mental beat.
Every time, every time he does that, I'm like, he's gonna pop off.
Even if they lost against RRQ, I remember that match when he was picking up the Granger. Highs was very, very good.
The
in
killing
spotting out.
spree Granger.
Okay, so
Killing spree.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for making this quite long, but
It's okay.
the killing spree Granger. I remember when I first picked up a Granger, I was playing ranked with KB, and he bullied me. Why the fuck did you pick up a killing spree
after the patch?
on a Granger before the patch?
Ah.
And
That's
yeah,
why.
That's why.
Because I was like, all right, after the patch, if KB shit talking, I was about to say, hey, KB, I don't know about that, but before the patch,
Before the
now
patch.
that's on you, man.
Like, what
But
the
you
fuck?
got that vision though.
Yeah, I got that vision. I predicted that killing spree will be buffed, and you would usually go MPL 8, but now most of the Grangers, even in NPH, the goal laners, be it whoever that is, they pick up the killing spree.
There you go, ahead of his time.
Yeah, the Grangers much more aggressive with the killing
Yes,
spree.
yes.
So, Highs, good job.
When you attack someone 30% lower than 30% HP, you get the killing spree that you used to get just from killing. And after you get a kill, it resets. So then you can go for another. With the Sky Piercer plus that, I mean, you can think about that synergy.
We're segue, but I wonder if other gold laners are gonna try and follow the
No,
trend as well.
not the other gold laners don't really have that unless you are going for Beatrix. We saw Iman go for Beatrix. So those type of heroes that want to go Sky Piercer, who want to be the main hyper carry, sure.
How about
He's not even no. No.
Just no.
I don't actually.
Because the kiting, right? I'm trying to visualize because usually.
But
it
Irithel
goes
isn't.
sprint, right?
Irithel isn't really a
Burst.
finisher type of gold lane. You know, like most of the times, especially in pro play, she's just there to deal damage. She's there to kite back, deal damage, deal damage. Everybody's low, and then usually there's an assassin, a Joy comes in, Haya, Suyo, whatever.
Unless we see the assassin Irithel, but
Yeah.
I was just theorizing because like gold laners that go sprint, right? Get the movement speed
Yeah.
buff. I mean, in theory, it makes
Yeah.
sense, but we'll have to see. Probably not for a while though.
Yeah. So shout outs to Rin. I think this
Yes.
guy is really, really good. Didn't expect him to be really, really good, but shout outs to Rin. EVOS. All right, so I don't think I need to.
Just skip.
I think we can skip EVOS. This week they played one match and it was up against NAVI.
Yeah.
I think everything we said from last week still applies. I don't think it's realistic to say, oh, we saw improvements. They were up against NAVI, you know. Like again, no shade to NAVI, some shade to NAVI, but but like
It is what it is.
It is what it is. NAVI are currently big. They took a game off of Bigetron, by the way. What the fuck's wrong with Bigetron, bro? What a stupid ass team. Bro, I swear to God, if NAVI actually beat BTR or like yesterday, I've always been an RRQ fan.
Season's over.
Ever since Kesky joined, I'm joking, but holy shit, when Navi got a game, I was just shaking my head, bro. I was like, wow, I can't believe they've done this. EVOS, not much to say. You want to say anything,
I
EVOS?
love the Bellic thing.
Yeah, okay, there, the Belleric pick. That's when, that's what they did.
I feel like for Reggie, it's all about just chilling.
Yep.
You know, just doing your own thing, gardening, growing plants.
Yeah.
Until the shortcut arrives,
It's
he
the
comes
old
in.
man lane.
Yeah, and then the Lucas.
The Lucas as well.
None of them could do anything.
Yeah, so that was a very, very, I wouldn't say, that wasn't really an innovation. I think it was an innovation somehow.
Yeah, in this meta, I
with
think
the
so.
Belleric
Sort
and the
of.
chip,
Shoutouts to
so
Avil.
the Belleric just chill walks his way into the
Yeah.
team fight, just ults 5 or 4 people. Very good.
I think they were theorizing that. Was it that game where we theorized that because you mentioned that like there might be a Mincetar coming through.
Yeah,
Was that it? Was that?
Yeah.
I think so. Yes,
Because you're saying like someone that can stop all this mobility, and then it turned out they just wanted the zone.
they just wanted
But
the
if-
Belleric.
Yeah, but you were theorizing.
Because the Mincetar did get buffed
Mincetar.
in the patch.
Yeah.
The Mincetar got buffed.
I mean, star.
Yeah.
So you know.
Shoutouts to Veal.
Maybe some teams are looking at like, Mirko's at Minstar. Wow.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, Mincetar got buffed. All right? Teams, start playing it. All right? It's a fucking Joy Harith meta. I don't know why.
Who used to play the Minstar one? There
What?
was. What? Gold lane?
Yeah.
Yeah, what? It's actually true.
A
What?
few times against the hair.
Yeah. It was what? Yeah.
If the Lunox wasn't viable, he goes
Yeah.
for the Mincetar.
So no EXP Minstars. Yeah?
There was, there were a few, yeah. I can't remember right
It
now.
was so rare.
It was- Because it's super random. So I think that's it for EVOS.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, okay.
I can't think of-
Sorry, EVOS fams. It was, I mean, this week is a good
Talk
week
about
for
the
you.
Mid laner?
Oh, Swaylo. Yeah, Swaylo taunted. I love that taunt, Swaylo. So apparently, fun facts, Key didn't even know. Key didn't even know he was gonna do that. Key was like fist bumping his friends, like, wait, what the fuck? Where the fuck Swaylo? He sees. I was like, wait, what? Swaylo's there. Ha, boom. So there's beef. Yeah, Swaylo shat talk.
And you said there was nothing to talk about.
Well, to be fair, like performance-wise, you know, this
Go
is
on, go.
outside of the game.
Who cares?
Yeah, but since this is a break week, all right, I guess we could talk about this is a long Mir recap because we won't have Mir recap for another 3 weeks up until week 4.
Why don't we
There's-
recap their break?
Oh, maybe we could do a Snapdragon recap after. Yeah,
Oh,
sure,
wait,
sure.
yeah.
But yeah, so Swaylo was kicked by the team, I believe. Again, this is and Audi as well dropped by the team, and he was throwing shade at Far. Now Raiden, the analyst for Navi. So I guess he had a say with the people getting kicked. So Swaylo got angry. He's like, ha, and then even to Cars, he's like, you have any messages to Cars? Wak wow.
Wak wow.
It basically means lol, kind of like so. Yeah, they got beef.
That was spicy though. Is
Yeah,
the
it
next
was.
spicy guy.
Dude, please, we need more of this, okay? We don't need some pussy ass bitches
We don't need
saying,
Roblox.
lucky, we got lucky, Bude. Good luck, Bude.
Have fun.
Have
Did say
fun.
Hockey Bude, right? As a joke.
Yeah, exactly. See, as a joke. I mean,
joke.
best two examples of interviews now is Alter Ego. Oh, number one, Alter Ego. Alter Ego interviews are amazing, dude. Second, I think is RRQ, but it's just because they're funny. Right now, I feel like they're just funny. Like they're
Toy.
yeah.
Kind of goofy.
And then I will have to put EVOS higher than RRQ because of Swalo now, right? Before that, I was Alter Ego RRQ, but now that Swalo is in, right, Cloudy?
Meow.
Okay, so she agrees. She thinks Swalo is very cool, right? Right? Yeah. Okay. Swalo, keep it up. Don't change. I think his performance was meh though. I mean, like, it's not. You can't really go flashy when your team's winning so hard. You know, as a mid laner, you're just there. You're just there to throw out skills, right, Cloudy?
Because someone on the desk was going like, yeah, but he's cool and all, but how about Nat Goat though?
Yeah.
Nat Goat.
So King Nat Goat or Swalo?
King that guy.
No, it was him, right?
Yeah, it
On that
was.
day. Yeah, it was this lineup. This exact lineup
King
on
Nat.
desk.
Nat Goat. All right.
Goat.
That goat in my life.
Let us know. Nat Goat or Swalo in the chat right now, guys. But okay, final team. Not much to talk about, honestly, again, because RRQ. But they did drop their first two games.
Yeah,
they
they
were
did.
6-0, and they dropped their first game against Alter Ego. They dropped another against Geek Fam. So I guess we could talk about, firstly, Kescute is the best coach in Indonesia, and no one comes close. I remember last season, props to St. Lucas for winning, but everybody was saying, yeah, St. Lucas's drafts were better, everything, all that. And I'm like, no. They got out-executed in the game. They never got out-drafted, all right? Listen, in the grand finals, I remember the final game, everyone was like, why didn't Kescute ban out Mathilda? Why did they ban Mathilda? Why didn't they ban the Cho?
They bashed him.
There's so many picks, and he had to deal with all of that, and I think he did it really well. But the execution was not clean. Unfortunately, it was their first season in MPL for a lot of their rookies. First grand finals for Dyron. First grand finals for Kescute, and I think he performed. So, Kescute, this guy has always been an amazing coach. XBTR, by the way. I come back. Anyways, yes.
Come back.
RRQ, they're really good, man. I said this in week 1. Someone clip it. If RRQ were to do well, it'll be on the back of Dyron and most importantly, Edok. And I think I got that one spot on. Edok currently number 1.
Number 1.
The only roamer in the MVP standings, and he's number 1. Back-to-back player of the week.
Edok is so good.
He is the best roamer in Indonesia right now.
So good.
XP, best XP in Indonesia right now. Dyron.
Dyron. Yeah.
I can agree, yeah.
They all 5 of them got voted for Team of the Week, right?
5 of them, which I personally disagree with. I'll be honest with you. I don't think all 5 deserve. Because like Hazel played 1 match against Alter Ego. I think Kyrie deserves a shout for Team of the Week as a jungler. We'll give our own Team of the Week. I think Ryota deserves a shout too, but that in XP and in Rome, I think it's Dyron Edok. That one, I think even mid, Rins, no debate. Gold lane and jungle for this week, I think there's a debate there for Team of the Week. But let's focus on just RRQ, their loss, maybe if you want to talk about their loss, or just their performance, how you feel about RRQ. You want to go first? RRQ man.
I feel like the one with Alter Ego when they dropped the first game, I mean, that got me nervous, man, because I think that day, me, Mirko, and Eterna were on desk, right?
Yeah.
And then the first game, Team Liquid lost.
Yeah.
And then match 2, Bigetron lost. I'm like, no way.
No way.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
This is the
MLBB
cursed day.
gods.
Yeah.
But then they got it done, so like, whoo! All right. I feel like even in that game where they lost, I felt like they messed up in one moment and it kind of snowballed out of control. And some people would say it's cope, but that one invade where they were trying to get Rins at his purple buff, and Rins did not have the ultimate. I feel like that really threw everything off because they did not get to shut or delay Rin.
Yeah.
And they kind of got punished. I think they lost 1 or 2 members as well from that engagement overall. So I feel like that was just like messy early game planning, right?
Yeah.
They didn't conserve the ultimate for that play and they weren't in the right spot at the right time and all that. So yeah, that aside, we talked about how that's part of why I said that Rin was just so unpredictable. That Hanzo game was just insane, dude.
Yeah.
And Hanzo in general, bullshit. Honestly, dude, I'm a mage player. I fucking hate that shit. It's so stupid. Like, even in that game, okay, they RRQ, just to the credit, part of why I really I can still say positive things about that game, even though they lost, is that a lot of teams when they're in that position, I feel like it's like GG, go next. Cloudy. Cloudy's doing stuff off screen.
Cloudy things.
But yeah, like a lot of teams would be like, dang, we can't do anything, it's over, you know? But RRQ, if you noticed, they started off trying to send Dyren to find Rin in all three goes at the jungle. Did not work. Next right after that, they went for they sent Edok instead of engaging, Edok stayed in the back and tried to stop the Hanzo. That didn't work out. Specifically because they were also behind, I think. And then afterwards, that doesn't work. They tried a full 5-man dive and made it as messy as possible to try and see if they can find something, you know, in the execution. And it didn't work out because alter ego, right? Crazy. So I feel like it at least shows that they have this like problem-solving mindset, you know, while the game is going, which I think is a great look, you know, personally.
Yep.
That aside, the recovery was great. Afterwards, immediately, the respect comes through from KSQ. And I feel like afterwards in the drafting phase, after that initial surprise, they kind of like recovered really, really well. So I think, yeah, by all means, the team is just so damn good right now. And the fact that every single member is relevant, right? We talked about how some other teams right now are dipping when it comes to individual performance. I feel like for RRQ, this might be because of the coaching staff as well. But dude, all their players, like for example, Dyren, okay? We know Dyren can deliver on these aggressive heroes. He plays the CC. Back then he played not a lot of examples here, but he plays those aggressive heroes like Luke does, right? But now as the meta shifts, we see that Dyren still performs well, and he even though the stuff he's doing in game is no longer the same thing, right? So I feel like the adaptability, the pivot to a different like role, not literal role, but like what you do in the game. I think RRQ does that really, really well. Because even if you want Edok to play, you know, more defensive, it won't be ideal. He's great as an engager, as an aggressive playmaker. But if he wants to play defensively, we've seen that happen before, and he can do it still. So I feel like, man, the team has just so many more layers and so many more angles that they can kind of approach games from. And you can call it talent from the players. You can say it's because of the coaching staff as well. I feel like it's a bit of everything, but I feel like they're just so good right now.
Yeah, they are. Not much to say, to be honest. So good in their controls and their objectives. But I just want to give, I think, a little bit of a story. For me, I feel like, I feel very, very nice to see NMM, to be honest. Succeeding. I know this guy personally.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do. Bangkef, yeah, we used to play badminton a lot together because the team I work for, they hired him to become one of the player caretakers.
Oh, okay.
And back then, he did not have much of a screen time, so people would only, praise the coach, but not for NMM. And looking at him, and back then he was in Dota. Dota was not really going anywhere. Right?
Yeah.
And now he's performing very, very well on RRQ. It makes me very happy.
Yeah.
To see him finding success, and we exchanged a few words, and for NMM I'm very happy. For Keskute, I don't know him personally, but he used to play in my team as well back in the days, in Dota days, and seeing him success, and boom. So seeing him finding success with NMM as well, it just feels very, very nice to see these guys succeeding.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very
That's I think that's something that, I mean, a lot of people, I think because obviously, the head coach is Keskute, has given credit only to Keskute, but NMM, the analyst, he was also part of Bigetron. He was a very crucial point, I think, in even Keskute making these decisions in the drafts. I think it's backed up by NMM a lot of times. That's why he wants to keep NMM by his side. And I think that's the reason he actually left Bigetron. I think I don't know. I've just heard things here and there from multiple sources, but I think they wanted to add in another analyst, and I think NMM would be like assistant coach or something. They would have like a shift in role. So going up on stage would be it wouldn't be Keskute and NMM. And I think that the request was like, I want NMM by my side. And right now, I think in RRQ, he's got that. There's only two coaches, NMM, Keskute, and then they're doing really well.
They bond together. I remember, by the way, when I met him, we were about to play badminton.
NMM?
Yeah, the first time I met him, my friend introduced me. I asked, "Who is this? This guy? this Ban Kevin. Who is this? This guy takes care of the players here in the gaming house.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then my friend abruptly said, "Wait, look at this guy. This guy is an MPL caster." I'm like, "No, what the fuck, no." But he's like, "Oh, really? Oh, Luke not cast MPL. So do you cast MPL? Yeah. Why?" And he said, "I was, following the matches."
Wait, when was this?
This was like, I think a year or 2 years ago.
So you
Right
actually
before he joined Bigetron.
Before he
Yeah.
entered Mobile Legends.
So you were
We just won the caster hunt.
I just want to get the caster.
Oh
hunt.
damn! Okay, okay.
So that was a very close timeline.
Great. Okay.
And then he was like, "Yeah, I'm following a few MPL matches. Why?" And he said, "Nah, I just want to watch them." But little did I know,
He's gonna join
he was
Bigetron.
learning. He was studying to become one of the best staffs in the coaching staff.
He's won back-to-back coaching staff with. I think he's gonna win it again. By the way, like Kescute and NMM. But yeah,
NMM, W Mans. He's a very humble guy, by the way.
yeah, very humble.
He's
Moreno
really nice.
Moreno calls it something.
What is it?
Big boss G or something.
Huh?
Yeah.
Kev the
I-
Big
I- I
Boss.
think
Big
the
boss.
real-
Yeah, but the real he calls him Big Boss, but the real one is well I don't know.
Do you just not want to say? Or?
No, I don't know how to say it in English.
He calls him the
The thief, basically.
no the guy who like the highwayman, like the guy who robs
Yeah,
people.
the guy who robs people and like just takes their shit and runs, you know?
Because we were
Eating
you know the
gultik.
story? We were eating gultik, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you guys know gultik, you know it's like a
Indonesian, yeah.
Still.
street food type deal. Yeah, and we were eating with Bigetron, and he was
With
like,
Moreno.
Yeah, bro, the Bangkef is the begal. That's the
Yeah.
begal.
Moreno said that. He was like, look at him. Look, he's already
highwayman.
yeah.
He'll
And
stick you up.
NMM was kind of he was eating.
Because the way he sits was like
Yeah.
like
He was ready. He was getting ready. He was getting ready
and
to
he was like that's why he's a great analyst, right?
Yeah.
But he was like looking around, and Moreno was like, "Yo, guys, look, he's looking for his next victim."
He's looking for his prey, bro. He's looking for next
And then NMM was like, "Dude, what are you saying, bro?" And then he was like, "Yeah, look, if you look at him, he's holding there was a skewer, like a satay, right?
Yeah.
A big skewer.
Yeah.
He's not eating it, and he's holding onto it." And Moreno was like, "Look, bro, he's
He's gonna stab you.
gonna stand someone with it." And then after he says that, NMM heard him and he just like threw it and it stuck into his leg,
Yeah.
like into his pants.
So we were like, oh shit, we go. Don't mess with
It's a real
NMM.
deal.
Don't mess with Boss G.
He's very quiet, but he kills you.
Yeah, silent but deadly.
Shout out
Literally.
NMM, dude.
Shout out to NMM.
Still waters run deep.
Yeah, but still waters. That's Kitling. Yeah, all right. So
And he also he's also been hitting the gym
yeah, at M6
with Hazel.
With Hazel.
We were asked, right, like any questions for Hazel if if RRQ
Yeah.
is winning and all that. And I told
What's your PR?
I told people to ask like, yeah, ask Hazel like how's NMM's progress in the gym, because the last time I saw him, like he was there only 1 or 2 days when we were in Malaysia. So I was like, oh, how's the gains?
Yeah.
bro?
I asked NMM why Kescute wasn't in the gym. NMM says, you really think that guy's gonna go to the gym? All right, so fair enough. Aside from that, though, I think game 1 against Alter Ego, that was one of the rare few times where they did get outdrafted because they went for very, I think, experimental picks. Maybe
Kufra?
the Kufra Aurora.
Underlock, yeah.
Maybe I thought like I obviously when it comes to that I gave them the benefit of the doubt because a lot of times they do Aurora, they do a lot of shit Aurora Rome last season that shocks us, but yeah, I think that's one of the rare times where we just saw them get outdrafted.
But I feel like they had a plan.
They did,
right?
but
if it did work out, I feel like the game would have been much more even, personally speaking. Call it bias, but I feel like there was a plan there. It just
Yeah.
there was mistakes in the game that didn't work out. On that note, though, you gotta also give a shout out to Alter Ego for that one, because
Yeah.
we talked
Zephyr.
about Edoc, right, being so good and all that. The draft aside, in that game, I remember Edoc doing crazy like Kufra flicker engages, trying to catch them off guard, try and get something.
Yeah.
And every single time, they just dodge from it, they flicker from it. So I
It's well played as well,
surprised at
yeah.
Alter Ego, in the engaged game at least, they are great. They
Yeah.
see things, man.
But game 2 against Geek Fam, I think RRQ, we saw the problem solving. We saw them against the Harith in the late game. They noticed, okay, what we need to do is we bait out Zaman Force and then we go in. We saw that once,
Yeah.
but then again, they got baited into a long fight. So they are very smart. They want to problem solve in the game. They're very good at improv gameplay, adapting on the go. But they can still get caught. Like they're not the perfect team, and I think these two games show a lot of the other teams that RRQ are still not perfect. There are a lot of loopholes that teams could capitalize on. Like again, just in RRQ, when they get a lead, they do want to go for fights, right? Most of the times. Sorry, Cloudy, you can't step on the thing. Okay.
It's expensive, Cloud.
No, I'm afraid you stop the recording. So yeah. So for them, they go for fights, and against Liquid, that's what happened, right? But it was the good one. I mean, it's the good form of going for fights and fights and fights. They ended in 9 minutes 40 seconds. So when they don't get the constant wins, I think the Geek Fam game happens. So draft can still be you can still beat Cascade in draft, even though it's really really hard, and it would also kind of require him to experiment. But you can beat them in the game. So there are two ways right now. Capitalizing on their brawls or capitalizing on their experimental drafts. What is that? That's it for me for RRQ. Do you guys have anything else to add for RRQ?
Not much, but I feel like also teams, if you want to go against RRQ, you gotta watch the positioning, man. I feel like they really do well when it comes to deciding like what formation would give them the best odds. I feel like for RRQ, they really know it. Like, they really understand the whole concept.
Yep.
So the usually you would see teams either group up together or split apart, right? There's like no in between. But I feel like with RRQ, again, I probably pay attention to them a bit more because like I'm a fan, by all means, full disclosure. But I really feel like they really understand like, okay, when and where they can kind of clump up together and where it's beneficial for them. Like if they're up against a Hayabusa and stuff, they want to clump up together. But the moment like the Hayabusa threat is over and then there's another potential combo threat coming in, they're immediately like dispersing. So they're not doing so out of muscle memory only.
Yeah.
So they're not just like on autopilot when it comes to positioning. And I think that's a very important aspect in the current season with the current meta, because dude, the amount of like big engages we've seen in the season so far is insane, and we got some really good roamers right now in the MPL ID. I mean, there's Key, right? There's Edoc,
Keyboy.
They're so
Light.
so
Arashi.
light.
Best roamer of all time.
Sure.
My goat. My goat.
So my point is the positioning becomes so much more important, and I think RRQ. I don't know what the hell they do to like train that to whether it's a regiment, whether it's their talent, whatever, right? But they do that really well, and I feel that gives them an advantage over a lot of the other teams in the MPL right now. So that's it for me. How about you?
If you can spot the engages like Ultra Ego did in game 1, when Highs was in the Ranger. Yeah, it was game 1, right?
Yep.
The Kufra. A few times Ultra Ego is very good in spotting the engages in RRQ. When they're like that, they disperse. So yeah, I just want to say good luck to RRQ. I hope they can maintain this, and good luck Abang, if you know what Abang.
Abang, yeah.
You call him Abang. It's a nickname.
Kind of reminds me of who was it? I think KV was making a joke. Yeah, dude, Kesq, the regular season GOAT.
Yeah, regular season goat. So far, back-to-back regular season number 1s.
Dude.
Unfortunate in the playoffs. Number 4 in season 13. Number 2 in season 14. 13, 14. There you go. 15.
That hurts, man. KV.
Let's see, Kesq. Let's see if we can break the curse this season.
Let's go.
But that's it for MPL ID, guys. Now we're gonna move on to 2 headline topics for MPL PH, just like we did last week. All right, we're not gonna go through the entire MPL PH because we didn't watch the entire MPL PH. We were working. All right, very unfortunate. But number 1, I think we'll talk about Aurora being the only undefeated team left in MPL Philippines. They beat Team Liquid PH. Pretty sad. I'm a Liquid PH fan, but man, it's crazy. They ended up playing the fucking Estes Renegade, you mad lad. MTB, you mad lad.
I heard about that,
Yeah, the Estes Baksha. They went full ube, bro. And I saw a clip reaction from VYs when they were watch partying. They were super high. They're like, oh, Estes. I mean, what a throwback, and the fact that it worked against TLPH. By the way, season 10. TLPH Echo was also beat by that strategy, by Estes, by Ube. So it's a crazy throwback. This is basically the ex-Blacklist lineup. Yue in there, Edward in there. Obviously the rest, Demon Kai, Renegade, part of Blacklist as well before moving to Aurora. But yeah, Aurora, from being the most inconsistent,
Last season,
from being the most consistently inconsistent team, winning almost beating ONIC PH to then getting grouped in both M6 and Snapdragon to now going undefeated in MPL PH. I just want to say to all them haters that hated Domeng at M6 saying, fuck Domeng, swap Domeng, blah, 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 Domeng. I told you, this guy's really good. One mistake doesn't, define a player, and he's improved. Again, this guy has always been a player with a lot of potential, all the way from when he was in X-Play. Minana EVOS. But yeah, I think the whole team has really improved here. Every single one. The drafts have been looking so good. That was also a big criticism, a big point of criticism for Aurora in M6 in Snapdragon when they didn't do too well. But here, even in the early season, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh shit, some of their drafts are still weird." This is the thing about MTB and Dexstar. I feel with their drafts, they take a long time to adapt to like the new style, to find the new strat, to find the formula. They are a very formulaic team. Like they need to find the formula. It'll be a lot of experimental picks every single time until they find the right amount of like stuff to put in the formula.
Right.
Once they get the formula, boom, this is Aurora. And I think, again, the patch not being too big of a patch, only a few heroes here, chip global ban, made it so, again, they could just use the same formula again here. There's nothing too big. There's no change that is too big for them to adapt to.
So do you feel like the Baxia Estes is like...
I think it's... no.
Is it like...
No.
Did it work because it's surprising? Does it work because it has actual valid potential?
Both. I think both. But this is something we'll never see in MPLID. This kind of style does not work in MPLID, I think.
That's fair.
Like, firstly, I don't think the teams have the discipline to pull it off.
Yeah.
For the most, yeah. But also, I think even if you have a lot of discipline, it takes a lot. I mean, the Ube style, a lot of teams have tried to copy it. None of them have been able to replicate the success of the old Ube, right? Like back in the day, that was the meta, but no one could play it. Only Blacklist could play it. Now,
right.
I think this is something that looks to be a very Aurora thing. Again, it's their formula. They have their own way to make it work. I don't think any other team in PH could really make this work, especially the aggressive ones like TLPH. So to see TLPH, also, by the way, Sanford picked up Benedetta in Game 3. Maybe a rise in aggressive picks in the XP. I really hope so, but it didn't work. The heal just went through it. The Benedetta, though it wasn't bad, it wasn't really. I mean, it's not a meta pick. So, yeah, for me, Aurora are just really good. What do you think about Aurora?
I think they're very, very good, very adapted to opponents as well. That Estes Baxia pick threw me off as well.
No.
Not much to say. I think it's very nice how they're able to, pay off their past mistakes, and now they're looking like a top contending team. I mean, beating TLPH because TLPH beat ONIC PH.
Yeah.
Because ONIC PH was the team to beat, and now they're beating everyone in their face. So yeah, very, very good. But yeah, that little point I want to make: Sanford Benedetta, Game 3. I was quite hyped when he picked it up, but yeah, it did not really work in his favor. So not much to say. Aurora, very, 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 very great job on maintaining this momentum that they have.
You want to add anything, Arashi, for Aurora?
I'll be honest, I didn't watch it too closely, right? I haven't been watching a lot of PH games that closely because like I've been busy. But I feel like I think it's really great when teams pull out like off meta stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer in like things that aren't meta can work.
Can
like,
work,
just
yes.
because it's not meta doesn't mean it's not valid.
Yeah.
Right? And because I see a lot of people say like, oh, if it's not meta, it means it's garbage. No, meta just means like this most likely is better, right? Yeah. All these other possibilities, I feel like in esports get so ignored, right?
Yeah.
And that might be because I'm a more experimental kind of player. I think you would know. So I really find it like
the juice in sprint.
No.
What?
What?
When he said experimental, I remember that 08 game he played with KB.
Who's 08?
Who?
Arashi.
Wait, what was he playing? What was he playing?
What was I playing?
I don't know. Was it a Belleric or something? It was 08. And KB posted it in IG. Yeah, but go on.
Oh, yeah, I remember. He posted on IG. Yeah.
Posted it on Instagram.
I thought that's taken out of context. Well, anyhow, yeah, like with the Chushin sprint, I've done like Chushin sprint, Aegis, and Vengeance, depending on like the matchups and Purify. But my point is like I feel like there's all these possibilities out there that are explored. And being completely fair, Indonesia is not a region that likes experimenting or even encourages experimenting. Because right over here, you do, even in ranked games, right? You do something unusual, everyone just clowns on you immediately. They didn't even stop to think whether or not it would fit this composition, it fits this context. Nothing. They just like immediately say like, oh, you're retarded because you don't fucking like go with the meta.
Yeah.
I think I was talking to someone about this. They were asking me like, okay, what is a meta? He wasn't an esports person, so he was asking me like, hey, so what is meta? And I explained like, oh, most effective tactic at the moment, right, or at the time, whatever. It's just like what's effective right now before someone finds something new or before a change moves the meta. And he asked me, oh, so for Mobile Legends that you work in, so you think Indonesia can like start a new meta and all that? Because we have different styles as well, different players, right? Like like Kyra and all that. And I told him like, if there's gonna be a meta, it won't be from Indonesia, dude. It will come from the Philippines. Because over there, they at least like think about it and they encourage it, and that's a thing that I really like about like the Philippines. Because over here, no way, man. Yeah. Like if a coach comes out with an experimental draft and he loses, look at the comments immediately. Yeah. It just ain't happening unless he gets immunity from like. Let's say the bosses say, hey, coach, do whatever you want, whatever the public perception, whatever the fan message is, you get full control. You won't face repercussions. Unless that happens, the coaches won't even dare to do it. They'll wait until someone else does it, and then they'll say, see, it works. And then it'll show up, which sucks.
Yeah, but this, by the way, this is the second headline topic for me. It wasn't part of the team. It was like Aurora, and then after that, why Philippines have always been the team that experiments and gets the meta, right? Because again, this is something we actually talked about in the back rooms. I think right after we saw the Estes pick, we were talking about meta, and again, I think it was KB also. Where me and KB, we spoke about it a bit. We're like, yeah, the meta just doesn't come from Indo here. But for me, again, I think we've seen a rise. Yes, it's not. We're not there yet where Indo starts the meta, but we have seen a rise in Indo meta, like the Hilda XP, for example, from last season, right? This brawl server kind of, these kind of compositions that really enable the brawls, the fights, random fights around the board. So again, with these new coaches, finally, again, this is harsh, but we've never really had competent coaches. We've always had fucking useless coaches in Indonesia. I'm not even joking. We've had plenty. I could name a lot, but I don't want beef. There were a lot. I think we had in every single season of MPL, like say season 7, we had 2 coaches who had a brain. Honestly, like who had an actual brain to draft, to understand the game, to do that, to really implement metas and strategies. All the others are just honestly getting paid for doing nothing. I think a lot of players can also talk out. I mean, they can speak up about this problem because it was a problem for a long time.
We won't name names.
Yeah, I won't name drop. But we have lacked competent coaches for a long time. And finally, now we have very, very competent coaches. Zephyr coming in. Yes. Keskute from Season 13 joining. Avil. So on top of the coaches that we already had that were really, really good, now we have the real coaches. Managements, team owners are finally seeing the frauds, like spotting out the frauds, kicking the frauds, and bringing in actual coaches to coach this team. And I think for the longest time, again, like you said, the crowd doesn't really react well to these kind of picks. But it's not even in the Philippines, they don't react well to these kind of picks. When MTB, Aurora's coach, went for their own meta, like the healers, doing all their gimmick stuff to get to this formula, get to this point, they were getting hated, they were getting trashed. But again, the owners, I don't know, believed in them, and they believed in themselves because they know they're working on something, they're strategizing, they have the data to back it up, like, oh, we are doing well in scrims, we're doing this, we just need to implement it on stage, something like that, But in Indo for the longest time, because we've lacked competent coaches, they would think, all right, let's pick this hero. They would get hate, and they're like on our mind because they don't even believe in themselves. They don't even believe in what they're saying.
More like a YOLO, random, roll the dice type of thing.
Exactly, because again, for Keskute, Aurora Rome, it didn't work out the first time against Bigetron. Yeah. He lost, but he kept on going with these random picks, and he tried to innovate. The Hilda XP got a lot of hate initially. It's like, what the fuck is this Hilda XP? St. Lucas, right? Mm-hmm. Boom. He keeps on going. He's like, no, I know this can work. We've done it before. It works. Back up the data. Trust the process. They made it work. Hilda XP became super meta. M6, we saw it like everywhere. Aran, best Hilda with Dairen, right? These two Hilda gods in the XP kind of conquered it, forced it to be banned in the first phase always.
I think that's true. And remember when Keskut, even Keskut, because back then he was in Bigetron.
Yeah.
Again, he wasn't like a massive name. I mean, he was going up immediately, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, when the Aurora came up, it's a lot of people just going like, "What the fuck is this guy doing, man?
Yeah.
Aurora Rome, what the fuck? Fucking idiot!" You know, they just don't see the vision, right? And I'm quite grateful that he actually got through, tried it again,
Yeah.
proved the doubters wrong, and was allowed to do so.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's also a lot of like sway from the fan base in Indo, right? We have a lot of fan base, we have a lot of people. That's no secret. But because we do, they have so much say, right? They have so much impact on like the teams and what they do. So that's another dynamic we've talked about a lot. Who has the more control? Is it the managers, the bosses? Is it the coach? Is it the players or is it the fans, right? And balancing all that in Indo can get quite difficult. But I'm glad that we're actually like getting to a point where, like Mirko mentioned, we're starting to be able to come up with our own creative things. We have quality coaches coming through because they're coming from like
Yeah.
more experienced background and
They're
all that.
all from Dota this season. Zephyr, Avio, Adi, Saint
That's
Lucas.
actually a point I want to make.
Yeah.
Is it because of their background?
Yes.
Dota is very big in Philippines. A lot of people, everyone plays it.
Yeah.
And I think the coaches,
Yes.
they know creativity can really come from Dota. Because in Dota, you do whatever you want.
But
There is
anything
no-
works.
Anything works. There's no fixated role on a certain hero. You can
Yep.
play, for example, anti-mage on the off lane if you do understand Dota. And
Dude, IO carry.
IO carry, yeah.
Explain.
Yeah, a lot of things.
You wouldn't know. It's
No.
like it's a support.
So
Imagine like
it's basically
a
Estes carrying the game.
Yeah.
imagine Estes carry and it like won the worlds.
Mm.
Yeah, so basically it's insane, and I feel like for Indonesia, I think it's very a breath of fresh air to see Zephyr, Veal, these coaches that really come from a competent background. As
Yeah.
well. I'm not saying that Dota is bigger than MLBB because in Indonesia MLBB is way bigger than Dota.
What is Dota in Indo?
In Indo,
What is any other game
Yeah,
except ML in Indo?
MLBB is
Yeah.
the culture here in Indo, but I like how they bring the logic and the way of thinking.
Yes,
into
yes.
drafting, heroes in MLBB and MPL,
For sure.
for example, as well. So their way of thought, it's been honed since they are in Dota, and they bring that to MPL. A lot of different metas as well.
Yep.
And Veil pulled out the Baloric and all that.
The
stuff.
Baloric, yeah.
I hope it continues. I'm
Yes.
not saying that coaches without Dota background are bad,
Yeah.
but
No.
the ones with Dota background, they have upper
have more.
hand.
The greatest mind of MLBB came from League of Legends. VYs.
VY.
Yeah. So-
I mean, to this day, even I think I told you at this combo with like KB.
Mhm.
On occasion, if you want to try out a formula, right? Let's say a tank in the EXP lane and something else in the jungle, or a mage in the support position. To test out a lot of that stuff, KB mentioned that it's a lot easier to just put it on Dota. You apply it in Dota, because then like the game is so slow, the map is so big. There's so many things that are highlighted even more. And if you can make it work there, then you can find a way to make it work in a smaller scale on Mobile Legends. So I feel like that creativity definitely like is a thing in Dota. In Indo, even though Dota was somewhat a thing, it was never, I think, as big as culturally like
in Philippines.
as significant as it was in the Philippines.
I think esports was already big before ML, like in the Philippines, right? That's why they have a lot of people now.
They have the Manila Major.
I think Dota is still alive there. Yeah, I think Dota is still alive there. Like, they still have, like, Blacklist has a team in Dota. They left ML, but they still have.
He still has one as well.
Yeah, so again, I mean, Aurora have teams everywhere, but
The culture is there.
yeah, the esports culture has been there for a long time. That's why they're Valorant. They have really good players there too, right? Yeah, esports culture is big in the Philippines, and I think that's why we have a lot of great minds who, again, can trust themselves. They will go for these picks. They will go for and I think it's the same for the players. Again, like Domeng, someone who has failed something so easy, looked so easy, right? I mean, the Beatrix snipe. It's not as easy as it looks, by the way, but missing something so easy, according to the masses, getting full hate for that. Then again, because of the pressure, blundering a couple of times, but then learning from that, and then now getting to a point where again, he is part of a team that's undefeated, right? I mean, this is a team game. Even though if you want to take it away from Domeng, then that's pretty stupid. But he's a really good goal laner. 2-0 against Falcon too, on top of the 2-1 win against TLPH. So it's not just the coaching staff, but it's also the players. They trust themselves. The management trusts in the players. They don't kick them right after a bad performance, and that's what we're seeing from RRQ as well. This season, they kept the same roster. They didn't want to change anything. They literally didn't want to change anything, but Skylar decided to take a break, so they had to change Toy, right? EVOS, not going for new players. They go for the old veterans now, sticking with this lineup. Bigetron as well, only changing a few things in their lineup. Only one thing, technically. I mean, with their coach as well, that means two. A lot of teams are now, we're a bit late to the curve compared to the Philippines.
Yes.
But the idea is, what I'm trying to say is, we're catching up in a way where, all right, there you go. That's how you're supposed to do it, right? Even if we get imports, we're not supposed to change everything every season to look for success. And the teams who are failing are the only team with 0 wins is the team that changed so much.
Yeah.
8th and 9th, they're the team that changed too many things. Geek Fam, again, to their entire roster again. NAVI, only keeping cars, right? So they will need time again as well. Like, their season is over, not Geek, but NAVI. But again, that doesn't mean in the future these players will always be bad. Hanafi, X Magic, these are investments for the future.
Potential.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something that I
Got sidetracked. Yeah.
Mid sentence.
Yeah, I think that's why. That's why the Philippines has always been ahead in meta. But hopefully, soon Indonesian teams will be able to catch up. Indonesian coaches will be able to catch up.
And I really wish, like, my great hope for Indonesian Mobile Legends is that even though we don't really come up with the same kind of strategy, let's say Philippines are just always more disciplined,
Yeah.
right, obviously, and Indonesia is very brawl heavy. Screw it. I feel like even if you want to go like brawl heavy, there are ways to make it work. The same way the UB strat and all these other like more disciplined strats don't always work. There's some things you have to know to make it work. I feel like the same thing can be said for multiple other metas, But Indonesia has always been like, oh, see, we're losing, right? Time to go with the Philippines meta.
Yeah.
I want us to have our own.
Stick to it. Yeah.
Our own style. If it's brawl heavy, screw it. Then let's make sure we're the best brawl heavy team. And
Yeah.
make sure we're so brawl heavy.
That's what we saw in M6,
that
right?
You can't play discipline against us, or
Yeah,
at least it becomes a chess match.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want that to happen, man. That's my, my ideal for.
I think that's what happened in M6.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like TLID just brawled their way to. They used their style.
Well, even more.
Yeah, even more. Hopefully. You have anything else to add, Realize, before we end the show?
I love Cloudy.
Yeah, W Claudia. Look, she's just chilling right there. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, this is a longer episode compared to normal, but because we have a 3-week break, so we have the time to talk about things. And then after this, we'll be going on a break. Realize will be going on a break. He's celebrating Hari Raya, Idul Fitri. We're going on a break as well, but we're not. It's not. We don't celebrate Idul Fitri, but we will celebrate the holiday though. Yeah. Anything else to say to close the show? Arashi, you want to say anything to the people back at home who won't be seeing a recap until Snapdragon, maybe?
Well, I hope you guys have a nice little break, and keep supporting the scene, keep supporting the people in the scene, this guys in particular.
Amen.
Thank you guys for watching.
Realize?
Happy holidays, everyone. It's very nice to be invited to talk in the mini recap and give insights. Hopefully, we'll see you guys soon after this 3-week break.
Yep.
Happy holidays and have a nice one.
See you guys. Peace out. You can check Arashi and Realize's socials in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye-bye.